Welcome to this online session of Building Materials and Construction 5. Today we'll be seeing about Unit 4 named Advanced Construction Techniques and Materials. In this session we will be seeing about shell structures, and in that we'll be seeing about its description, its types, its advantages and applications. So first we will start with a description of shell structures. Shell structures are also called plate structures. So they are lightweight construction using shell elements. These elements, typically curved, are assembled to make large structures. Typical applications include aircraft fuselages, boat hulls, and roofs of large buildings. So a thin shell is defined as a shell with a thickness which is small compared to its dimensions and in which deformations are not large compared to thickness. A primary difference between a shell structure and a plate structure is that in the unstressed state, the shell structure has curvature as opposed to the plate structure which is flat. So membrane action in a shell is primarily caused by in-plane forces, which is nothing but plane stress. But there may be secondary forces resulting from flexural deformations. So where a plate acts similar to a beam with bending and shear stresses, shells are analogous to a cable which resists loads through tensile stresses. The ideal thin shell must be capable of developing both tension and compression. So lattice and portal frame buildings consist of a structural frame which supports slab, roof and wall covering. So this frame serves purely as a structural support and provides protection against weather. So the roof and wall covering add nothing to the strength and the rigidity of the structural frame. So a shell structure is a thin covered membrane or a slab, usually of reinforced concrete, that functions as both structure and the covering. So the term shell is used to describe the structures which possess strength and rigidity due to its thin, natural and curved form, such as the shell of an egg, a nut, a human skull and the shell of a tortoise. So next we will see about thin shell structures. So a thin shell is defined as a shell with a thickness which is small compared to its other dimensions and in which deformations are not large compared to its thickness. So a primary difference between the shell structure and a plate structure is that in the unstressed state, the shell structure has curvature as opposed to the plate structure which is flat. So membrane action in a shell is primarily caused by in-plane forces, but there may be secondary forces resulting from flexural deformations, where a flat plate acts similar to a beam with bending and shear stress. Shells are analogous to a cable which resists loads through tensile stresses. So the ideal thin shell must be capable of developing both tension and compression. So the most popular type of thin shell structures are concrete shell structures, often cast as a monolithic dome or a stressed ribbon bridge or a saddle roof. So the thin concrete shell structures are a lightweight construction composed of a relatively thin shell made of reinforced concrete, usually without the support or internal supports, giving an unobstructed interior. The shells are most commonly domes and flat plates, but may also take the form of ellipsoids or cylindrical sections or some combination thereof. Then most concrete shell structures are commercial and sports building or storage facilities. So the two most important factors in the development of thin concrete shell structures are, so the first factor is the shape which was developed along the history of these construction. So some shapes were resistant, can be erected easily. However, the designer's instant desire for more ambitious structure did not stop and new shapes were designed. So the second factor to be considered in the thin concrete shell structures is the thickness, which was usually less than 10 centimeters. For example, the thickness of the Hayden Planetarium shell was only 7.6 centimeters. So next we will see about single curvature shell. So, the single curvature shell are curved on one linear axis and are a part of a cylinder or cone in the form of barrel walls and conoid shells. Also, double curvature shell means they are either part of a sphere or a hyperboloid of revolution. So the terms single curvature and double curvature do not provide a precise geometric distinction between the forms of shell because a barrel vault is single curvature but so is a dome. So the terms single curvature and double curvature are used to distinguish and comparative rigidity of the two forms and complexity of centering necessary to construct the shell form. So to know in depth about the shells, we need to see some components and terminologies. So first we will start with surface of revolution. So surfaces of revolution are generated by the revolution of a plane curve called the meridional curve about an axis called the axis of revolution. So in the special case of cylindrical and conical surfaces, the meridional curve consists of a line segment. Like examples are cylinders, cones, spherical or elliptical domes, hyperboloids of revolutions and toroids. So next is the surface of translation. So surface of translation are generated by sliding a plane curve along another plane curve while keeping the orientation of the sliding curve constant. So the latter curve on which the original curve slides is called the generator of the surface. In the special case in which the generator is a straight line, the resulting surface is called a cylindrical surface. If two parabolas are similar, the surface becomes a surface of revolution called paraboloid of revolution. So next we will see the types of shells. So the types of shells, they can be divided into singly curved and doubly curved based on their curvature. They are also called developable shells and non-developable shells respectively. So first we will see the singly curved shells. So the singly curved shells can be divided into two, which is the surface of revolution and the surface of translation. So under surfaces of revolution we see circular cylinders and cones. So under surface of translation we see circular or non-circular cylinders and cones. So next we will see about doubly curved shells. So under doubly curved we can classify it as synclastic and anticlastic shells. So first we will see synclastic. So synclastic itself can be further divided into surfaces of revolution and surfaces of translation. So under surfaces of revolution in synclastic we see other circular domes, ellipsoid of revolution and paraboloids of revolution. And under surfaces of translation we see elliptical paraboloids and paraboloids of revolution. So next is the anticlastic structures. So under anticlastic again we can divide it into surfaces of revolution and surfaces of translation. So under surfaces of revolution we see hyperboloids of revolution of one sheet. So under surfaces of translation we can see about hyperboloid paraboloids, we can see about conoids and hyperboloids of revolution in one sheet. So that's all about the classification of shells. So next we will see about developable and non-developable surfaces. Surfaces with double curvature cannot be developed while those with single curvature can be developed. In other words, surfaces with positive and negative Gaussian curvature, that is synclastic and anticlastic surfaces, cannot be developed while those with zero Gaussian curvature can be developed. So next is developable surfaces or singly curved. Developable surfaces is a surface that can be unrolled onto a flat plane without tearing or stretching it. It is formed by bending a flat plane. So the most typical shape of a developable shell is a barrel, and a barrel shell is curved only in one direction. So we will see about barrel. So arch action and beam action together make a barrel. So there are mainly two types of barrels. The first one is long barrels and short barrels, and in long barrels the arch action is permanent, and in short barrels the beam action is prominent structural behavior. So these shells are typically supported at the corners and can behave in one or a combination of the following ways. Like structural behavior of a long barrel shells, they are typically supported at the corners and behave structurally as a large beam. So next is non-developable surfaces or doubly curved. So the example is sphere or hyperboloid paraboloid. So these non-developable surfaces are mainly classified as synclastic and anticlastic shells. So synclastic. So the synclastic shells are doubly curved and have a similar curvature in each direction. So the examples is domes. So a dome is a good example of a synclastic shell. It is doubly curved and can be formed by rotating a curved line around an axis. So next is dome. So a dome can be split up into two different directions. Like vertical sections separated by longitudinal arch lines are also called meridians, and horizontal sections separated by hoops or parallels. So their structural behavior, it is similar to arches under a uniform loading. So the dome is under the compression everywhere and the stresses act along the arch and hoop lines. So next is the anticlastic shells. So the anticlastic shells are doubly curved, but each of the two curves have the opposite direction to the other. Examples are saddle points, conoids, hyperboloids, paraboloids, and hyperboloids. So they are all considered as anticlastic shells because they are saddle shaped with different curvature in each direction, and the straight lines can be drawn on the surface. So conoids. So conoids are formed by moving one end of a straight line along a curved path and the other along a straight path. Hyperboloids. So hyperboloids are formed by rotating a straight line around a vertical axis. So hyperboloid paraboloid. So it is formed by sweeping a convex parabola along a concave parabola, or by sweeping a straight line over a straight path at one end and the other straight path not parallel to the first. So next we see about its structural behavior. So depending on the shape of the shell relative to the curvature, there will be different stresses. Shell roofs have compression stresses following the convex curvature and the tension stresses following the concave curvature. So next we will see the types of shell structures. So the first one is a folded plate. So the distinguishing feature of a folded plate is the ease in forming plane surfaces. So a folded plate may be formed for about the same cost as a horizontal slab and has much less steel and concrete for the same spans. So the principal components in a folded plate structure consist of an inclined plates, edge plates, which must be used to stiffen the wide plates, stiffeners to carry the loads to the supports and to hold the plates in line, and columns to support the structures in the air. So the next type is barrel walls. So barrel walls are perhaps the most useful of the shell structures because they can span up to 150 feet with a minimum of material. They are very efficient structures because the use of arch form to reduce stresses and thicknesses in the transverse direction. So the next types is domes of revolution. So a dome is a space structure covering a more or less square or circular area. So the best known example is the dome of revolution, and it is one of the earliest of the shell structures. Excellent examples are still in existence that were built in Roman times. They are formed by a surface generated by a curve of any form revolving around a vertical line. So this surface has double curvature and the resulting structure is much stiffer and stronger than a single curved surface, such as a cylindrical shell. So that's all about shells and the types of shells. So in this session, we saw about shells, we saw about its components and construction and also its types. Thank you.